Welcome back to another edition of the Real Estate Uncensored Marketing Roundtable. We are missing one of our compadres, but I got my two esteemed co-hosts, Mr. Nick Sakis, Mr. Gene Volpe, the evil bald ninja. Gentlemen, how are you?
Fantastic.
Wow, you said that convincing.
Yeah, that sounded like a bunch of crap to me.
Yeah, I don't buy that bullshit at all. But you know what?
I need a fucking haircut. That's what's going on.
Gene would love to have a haircut, but he'll never be able to have one. Why? Because he's bald. And now here's our intro. So I just got to ask real quick. I mean, did the bald comment hurt?
You know, I have this thing, right? When I see my therapist, I say to them all the time, I just feel unloved and unwanted. And she says, do you think it's because that your daughters say, but daddy, where did your hair go? And I go, not really. I think it's because Greg does it live in front of 40,000 people. So I am now going to go ahead and forward you the bill.
There you go.
No problem. I'll pass that over to Nick. Not a problem at all. Yeah, I'm
my
happy to
4-year-old likes to grab my stomach and shake my fat. So talk about a gut check. That's a real gut check.
Yo, straight up, that's a gut check. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my God, you two retards. I love you guys beyond words. We got some good shit going on. But first off, Mr. Gene Volpe, introduce yourself because Nick is going to take this show over. We are going to be talking about the iOS update and kind of how it's just motherfucking all of us in regards to Facebook and everything
Not
else.
all
I'm sure there's things. Hey, you know what? Gene, bye. Okay, you're back.
I think it's funny. We got to make sure that we say, I feel like a lot of people are listening to this on their headphones and they don't see what you're doing. Like you have to let people know what's going on there. He is kicking me out of the room. So I effectively can't drop any more knowledge bombs on you folks. So if I were you, I would write Greg a private message and go, we need Volpe there. Stop doing that. Stop being an internet bully, McDaniel.
Such a bully.
That's such the opposite of what I am, and that's the hilarious part about this. All of you guys are fucking laughing your asses off behind the scenes. But yeah, so Volpe, tell me a little bit about you and kind of who you are, why you're on the show, kind of your favorite color, and what are those medals hanging behind you?
Oh, I can't tell you about any of those medals. They're super secret Savage Race medals. All right, they are what I like to call the second place trophy, if you will. Oh, look at that!
Whoa,
what are they hanging on?
Off some hardware.
And I got more over there. These are all my. Hold on. Okay, while you guys do this, I gotta get my medals real quick.
All right, well, he does that. So let me go ahead and tell you who I am. I'm the lighter side of Greg McDaniel. I am the better looking one. You tune into this podcast for my knowledge and my looks, because clearly you're not here for those things from Greg, right, Dick Trackus?
That's right.
That's exactly right. And
Greg just likes to wear collared shirts. He can't hang with us, right? He's trying to be too prim and proper these days. I feel like with his multicolored shirt. I don't know.
I think it's hilarious that me and you are going back and forth in the video, and you hear he's like trinking around trying to find change in a drawer.
He's like an old man at a fucking rocking chair hitting his wind chime on the front porch. 1 second, honey. I'll be there. I know dinner's ready. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Let me get up real quick.
What is he doing? I hope people are still here.
Okay, chuckleheads.
Oh my God.
I got one award.
We're totally off the rails.
I got my other one. I have my other award. I got my
They're
other
not awards. They're participation trophies. Get over it. Say I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Go to your third medal. Show me the third medal on you. Read it to me. 1, 2, 3.
These are my Spartan Race awards.
What does it say?
This is the one where it's a 10K with 25 obstacles.
Does it say first place on it?
I'm always first place.
Does it say winner of the Spartan Race?
Savage.
That's a participation trophy.
Damn.
That's a participation. You are the perfect example of what I teach my daughters not to be.
You hurt my feelings.
Well, Gene, now you have to show your first place ribbon behind you. You can't spew that kind of filth and not show a first place.
Thank you, Nick. I don't see first place shit.
You probably can't see it. I'll read it to you. Okay.
Did you make that yourself?
It says Gene Volpe, Visionary Award and #1 state licensee.
That's because you made it for yourself, or your daughters made it for you to make you feel better.
It's pretty close. I didn't make it for myself. Somebody did, but it was a business partner.
Okay, enough horse shit. Let's get down to fucking brass tacks. Nick, lay it down for us in regards to when it comes to the whole iOS update and everything else. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff being talked about this. I actually called you personally the other day talking about why my iPhone wasn't working well with Facebook, and we brought Ramon in and everything else. So break it down, man. Where are we going with this? What's going to happen?
Yeah, so you guys have probably heard over the past. I mean, we've known about it for a year. It's been kind of in the news in the past couple of months. I'd like to ask anybody who's listening, who's on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, to write in the comments, like, if you're an iPhone user, have you seen the notification to stop all tracking? And then what are you doing? Are you going to opt in or are you going to opt out? The scenario that's going on right now is we know that 80% of all traffic on Facebook right now is on mobile. Okay. So 80% of traffic is on mobile. 50% of that traffic, mobile traffic, is iOS users. And they're saying that the majority of those users are going to opt out because it's a big push from Apple about the privacy. Most people don't really understand what's really going on as far as data tracking. Like, they're going to think they're doing something cool by opting out of, Facebook tracking, but then figuring out where to go to the nearest Starbucks on Google Maps, like they're not being tracked in other platforms and other areas of their life. Apple's still tracking you no matter what. So the interesting part about this whole thing and where it really comes, down to brass tacks and what you guys should look out for, especially if you're running Facebook ads on your own, is what is the reporting look like? Because the reporting takes the biggest hit. So if you are it, and let me preface that by saying the biggest people who got hit by this tracking update are e-commerce stores running conversion type ads using the Pixel. Okay. Greg, it might be a little bit of a mouthful, but over time with Facebook ads, we learn the algorithm. Go ahead. Yep.
Mouthful. Look, Betty, I live in San Francisco. We always talk a lot here. Okay. We have a special guest that's going to come in here in a minute, but I'm going to let you keep rocking. This is going to be awesome.
So many mouthful jokes there.
So yeah, open up your mouth, little baby birds. Let me feed you some information. The conversion ad was the staple of. So let's say you were running an e-commerce store. You had an ad on Facebook. It brought somebody to a shopping cart. They purchased a shopping cart. That showed you a conversion inside Facebook. The majority of agents run just a basic lead form type ad, right? And that lead form type ad doesn't necessarily use the Pixel because that's on Facebook targeting. That's getting lead. That's first party data information. So what's happening is when people opt out of this iOS tracking now on Apple, when they go to land on your website, if they've opted out, now that Facebook Pixel that everybody's heard about and relies on mostly for tracking is going to disappear. So you're going to be running ads and you're going to be generating leads. And all of a sudden you're going to look in your ads manager and your leads are going to look like they cost way more because the Apple users are not being tracked via the Facebook Pixel. So that is the very short brief. Now, there's ways around it. We can get into that, but let's digest that small portion of if somebody opts out of iOS tracking and they land on your website and you're using the Facebook Pixel for conversion, any kind of web event, that data is now gone inside the ads manager from a very basic level. So
hold on, let me stop you. Let me ask you this question then, just from a fiduciary perspective, right?
Oh, my boy.
What is going to be, and I know you're not going to be able to answer this for sure, but what's going to be the financial impact to Facebook on this? Are they just going to double their rates because people are going to spend less money because they can't hit the Apple? No. Like, tell me what's going to happen there. What's your prediction?
Facebook is really smart. Okay.
Well, we know that, right?
We know that, right? Facebook is really smart, and this is all just a big media play. This is just a battle between two companies. Sure, just like anything right now, right? There's a gas shortage, quote unquote shortage. So everybody's going to the gas station and filling up bins with gas when it's not really necessary because there's a public perception of something happening, just like the toilet paper issue. So like there's a kind of a public perception right now of, oh, I'm not being tracked on Facebook anymore. So Facebook ads don't work for Apple users. The guys in the know, the agencies that are running the business, there's always a workaround. There's always a ways around it. And on the short term, again, guys like myself, Gene, anybody who's running an agency that would run these ads that know what the ecosystem does, knows how to work around this. And we'll get into that. For the first time user, like if you're a brand new agent or you're thinking about running Facebook ads, you've never done it before, and you're in some real estate group and they say, yeah, you can get, $1.50 leads on Facebook, and you go to run these ads not really knowing what you're doing, you're going to be in for a surprise because, again, it goes back to the reporting. You're going to run ads, you're going to run traffic, and the dashboard, the Facebook dashboard that you would rely on as a regular consumer going into Facebook running ads, those numbers are going to be skewed. They're going to be off. Not all the leads are going to show up. Not all the landing page views are going to show up via the Facebook pixel. So what ends up happening is, and I don't want to get too complex with this, but there's Facebook pixel tracking and then there's server side tracking. So the infinite kind of the push towards the second generation of Facebook ads is really getting hard data from your website, not via a Facebook pixel, but being your actual website server. So your server is going to send the information back to the Facebook Ads Manager or your third-party data provider that is running all your reports and everything, and then you'll get clear information there, but it's not going to be via the Facebook pixel like a lot of people are accustomed to now.
Okay, that literally just went over my fucking head. And I'm glad so, because that's not what I do. But we got a special guest, first time appearer on this show, Mr. Ramon. How are you, brother? What are your thoughts on what Nick is talking about? Because this is some next level shit.
Yeah, I only caught half of that, and I just jumped in here because I have an iPhone and I do ads on Facebook, so I figured I could jump in this conversation. But most of what Nick said kind of went right over the head. I actually let Nick do most of my Facebook ads, so I let him know about it, so I don't have to worry about it.
Smart man. That's a smart man.
It is. Gene, what are you seeing in your side of the business with this stuff? Because this is not a small thing. I mean, this is a major shift. And yes, you are an infantile child because you do not have an iPhone like all the progressives do, but it's okay.
So let's talk about me. Okay. my favorite subject. So I have what's called you ever hear the thing? There's a meme out there that says, "Why do I have a beard? It's because I'm neither a woman nor a child." Have you ever seen that? Right?
No,
okay.
But I like that.
Yeah, well, that's sort of where I play with my Google Pixel. So I am not an Instagram or TikTok superstar. I'm not a gamer. And so therefore, I'm a real boss who likes to make money. And so I use grown-up things. And so I have a Google Pixel. So this change affects me sort of like somebody that has a hair implant or a wig factory. I could give a shit, right? And actually, no, that's not really true. That's not really true. It's going to affect me because my clients are going to be pissing and moaning about it. So it's an important element, right?
Ramon,
but I think Nick makes a good point. There's guys, and admittedly, Nick is light years ahead of me when it comes to many things, including this. What we're talking about here, like I haven't spent much time diving into this yet. Like actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm in the business and I'm no slouch. If I had a question about it, guess who I would call?
Nick.
I'd call that dude. So I really would. He'd be my first call all day, and I've done it on multiple occasions for multiple things. So a guy like Ramon is a smart dude because Ramon knows where his bread is buttered, and he's handling that. And he knows that Nick can handle the other side of it. And when it comes to stuff like this, do you want to spend 30 cycles on something that you might probably never understand anyway? Or do you want to get a guy like Nick on the phone to have him answer a couple of questions and direct you in the right direction? Right. So I think that's my sales pitch for Mr. Sakis, if I'm being honest. Not that he needs one, but honestly, that's what he's here for. Right. That's why it's important that when you come to these things, I think 80% of what we talk about in the show is stuff that anybody can do. If you're going to put the sweat equity in and the time and effort to figure it out, there's nothing really scientific about it. There's going to be 15 to 20% of these things that are most people are going to go, huh? I mean, you guys just did it. Like, huh? I understood everything he said. It makes total sense to me, but I'm on the back end. I'm a geek. So at some point, that 20%, when you want to get to that next level, you're going to have to offload that to an expert. And that's kind of why you would call Dick Trackus. Dick Trackus.
It is his name. His alter ego is Dick Trackus. Yes, correct. here on the show. I want to dive in really, really quickly. And there go the glasses.
Yes.
Okay, now I have the aviators on.
Yes.
So let's talk really quickly in regards to kind of some of the stuff, Nick, that you're doing and how you're helping Ramon and some of your other clients, how other people can, when they're watching and listening to this, how do you circumvent this? I mean, how do you pivot at 180 degrees, going from what you've always done to what you can't do anymore, and what that might mean for everybody's businesses? Because we all have different interpretations of kind of how we want to generate leads and business and put clothes on our family members and ourselves and food on our tables and everything else. So I'd love to break it down. Then I want to have Ramon come in and talk about a little bit about what Nick's been doing for you and kind of that success level, because I mean, you are blowing the F up and you're crushing it out there in North Carolina. So Nick, let's start with you.
Yeah. So two things to do, right? We talk about this big update is the difference between, and I don't want to go geeky too much again, but first-party data versus third-party data. So first-party data, meaning leads that you actually acquire on your own via lead format or driving traffic to a website, asking people for name, email, and phone number, which you always should, right? So the first-party data is pretty much untouched. If you're capturing a lead form on Facebook and you're gathering that data, you're good, right? You're going to be good. This just goes into phase 2 of marketing that we've been doing for a long time, of not necessarily like we use the pixel for retargeting, but we also retarget based on user engagement on Facebook. So that's where the party's at, right? It's generating content that people watch with their eyeballs and then retargeting them on the platform itself by user engagement. So even though somebody might opt out of tracking on their iPhone, they're still downloading Facebook Terms of Service. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a huge book allowing all kinds of permissions on your phone if you have Facebook downloaded. So as long as that user is interacting in some capacity with your brand via video, we can retarget them with the call to action the same way as if they trip and fell into your IDX website and never knew about you on Facebook, and then we would retarget that way. So first-party data, always capture name, email, address, phone number on Facebook itself or on your website if you can. But second-tier marketing, are you retargeting with video? Are you going to cold audiences with video anyway, getting people to resonate with you, and then retargeting based on what percentage of video view was watched and all of the different intricacies of the types of ads that you could run? So first-party data, engagement on Facebook, and you're still going to win.
Well, that was about as clear as mud. But I think that
it's the same shit we talk about. Create videos that people want to watch, and then you retarget those people with an ad that says "Buy my shit." Like, it's very simple.
Let me stop.
People like and buy my shit.
Let me stop you real quick. This brings up a really good point. So, because I mean, you like Nick, when this first came out, you can be honest. When this first happened, you probably had questions too, right? As far as deep as this stuff goes for you, sure. There's things that come up that inside and out that changes on a regular basis that you go, oh shit, I don't know how that works. Let me figure this out, right?
Yep.
Where does a guy like Greg or a guy like Ramon go to be able to make the decision that, yeah, I can do this myself? Uh-oh. I feel like I just got pulled over. Is that weird?
Oh my God.
License and insurance, please, Mr.
Well, I'm an illegal, so I can't produce any of it. I'm going to start running. Virtually, I'm running from you, Sergeant Wolf. Let me finish this thought, and then we'll get him in. What would be a good spot, Nick, for somebody who's listening to this, like Greg, to go, I don't understand what he's talking about. I'd like to know a little bit more, at least to figure it out, or one, to see if I have to do it on my own or if I have to actually hire somebody to handle it. Is there a spot that you would send them to learn at a high level? Where would I begin to get this information, to pull it down, so when I'm done reading or watching the video, I could say, okay, I understand that now, and I want to dive in more, or screw this, I'm calling Nick.
Yeah, well, call me. But Just you can go to business.facebook.com, and all the information of the iOS update is published by Facebook. Like they don't hide it. And if you're in your ads manager now, you've probably seen big red banners at the top saying "Get prepared for iOS." So like the help articles and everything are there. As far as like an easily digestible asset, I don't have one, right? I talk directly to my Facebook manager, but that's you have to be at a tier with enough ad spend to have that. So like when I had a question when it first came out, I'm getting my guy on the phone and being like, hey, how's this going to affect us? What are we doing to put it in place? But all those articles and everything are on Facebook. Like they tell you what's going on. You might not be able to necessarily understand it, which is why you would need to call somebody like me and say, okay, how's this really going to affect me? I'm running this kind of ad. Again, make videos that people want to watch, retarget them with buy my shit.
Makes sense. Ramon, you're actually a consumer of this. What are the effects that you've been seeing? Then I want to rocket this over to Mr. Jake Wolf over at Clever Lead. So Ramon, take it away and kind of tell us what you're seeing boots on ground.
Yeah, you got it. So I don't think we've actually seen the effects of it yet. And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but me and Nick just had a conversation about he's kicking my ass trying to get me to do more videos and specifically for retargeting, because I think right now we're doing about 80% of my ad spend in targeting new leads and then 20% in retargeting those same leads. So I don't think we've seen any the changes come into effect yet. But Nick actually watches my accounts a lot more than I do. So I think that's a better question fit for Nick.
So let me ask you this. If you were to do a video today, because Nick's going to kick you squarely in the taint, what would be a video that you would shoot?
Well, you have been doing videos. Tell them about what you've been doing.
Oh, no, Gene's going to make fun of me. I can't tell him that. I'm trying to be a TikTok star.
I would never make fun of you, dude. You gotta create your hustle. I would never.
But TikTok star is what? What is that? Easily digestible video content.
Yeah.
So it's not just TikTok.
I've been making 60-second like TikTok-based videos about like the local restaurants in the Winston-Salem area. I actually just did one today. I just posted on my Facebook page, and that's not, it's not real estate related, but it's my face, it's my branding, it's putting me out there in front of people that I wouldn't be in front of in any other circumstance. And those people may or may not interact with my videos, but then I can retarget them with the real estate ads and stuff like that.
Dude, I'm sorry. I've watched a couple of your TikTok videos. They're not stupid. They're really freaking good. And I'm not bullshitting you on this one.
I'm
Jake,
34 years old and I'm embarrassed to be on TikTok, but I feel like I got to give it a shot,
Bitch, I'm 42 and I'm on fucking TikTok. Shut up.
But you started on the creep at 42.
Oh, okay. Now we're just gonna kick you off. Wolf, how are you, my friend? Happy moving day for you.
So I was out on the road and I was tuning in to the Marketing Roundtable live, listening to you boys just dropping bombs, and I'm like, man, I got to go ahead and turn the Harley back over to the office here real quick. So anyways, I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait for this big Facebook change to go ahead and happen. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Big businesses are like, what's going on? Even old Mr. Zuckerberg is behind the scenes trying to go ahead and hack and scramble. Okay, absolutely love it. Anybody that's not prepared, that's competing with any of our core agents, see you later. There's a perfect storm that's actually getting ready to happen. There's Google making a big old change. All right. So everybody's thinking, oh, there's this iOS 14 thing going on with Facebook. What they're all missing is the big old Google change right now on May 15th. And back in the mid 2000s, I literally watched businesses go out of business from Google algorithm changes. Okay. So here's the big thing. All right. If you don't have a quality website that's high performance, high speed, that also has consumable content, you could be ranking number one right now for certain search terminology. But if you come in under a score of a certain level at Google for their new algorithm, because what they're wanting to do ultimately is give everybody who's searching for different things a good quality website with the content that's actually relevant, and your site has to go ahead and be performant. So all of the real estate agents out there, you guys are all hanging your little profile pages with your broker's website that's just a bog. So yeah, we went ahead and doubled up our servers to go ahead and make sure super fast speeds are happening over here in this neck of the woods. we're going to start targeting all of the competitors intentionally. So because I know how important search engine optimization is for rank structure in the golden triangles on Google. So it's going to be good. There's going to be a big shift in attention, and I'm looking forward to it. So back in the day, we used to be able to subsidize the lack of organic placement on Google with paid advertising. Okay, so now with Facebook making a change, you can't really force traffic with paid advertising to your website to go ahead and mitigate the actual Google change that's getting ready to come. So Google's going to be taking ad revenue on Google's side of the house with PPC to go ahead and supplement all of these different changes. It's all coming. The big players are all in the ring. It's the gladiator fight, and any businesses that are unprepared are gone. Mr. Tom Ferry literally changed his whole website completely. So he's got a new marketing manager that used to work for Zillow for like 7 years. She was in the Northwest and the tech industry. They literally are getting ahead of this thing right now, changed their whole website because they realized that the existing Tom Ferry website go ahead and go underwater like the Titanic as soon as these changes are going to happen. So they've been working, investing a shit ton of money behind the scenes to go ahead and get ahead of it. So another thing too, if your website isn't ADA compliant, America's Disability Act compliant, there's a whole bunch of attorneys running all over California suing the living shit out of people in their websites because you're not ADA compliant, and they're coming at you for $250,000.
Hold up. We're gonna pump the brakes here real quickly. One, love to see that Tom's floundering and kind of stressing a little bit, because I mean his whole business was in-person events and then everything else. They bragged that they did 800 in-person events a year, which obviously that's horse shit. I know exactly what he's talking about. He sent his minions out, and then they would bring back the kill back to him. ADA compliant websites. I really want to dive deep into that really quickly, because I have absolutely no idea what the fuck that means. I mean, that is, Nick was shaking his head going, yep. So why is that so important for everybody to understand right now?
Well, they passed some new legislation. So if your website isn't ADA compliant, now you've got a whole, it's like the new bandwagon for the attorneys. They're wanting to go ahead and just say, hey, that company's website isn't ADA compliant. Lawsuit.
It's like why? Accepting cookies for tracking, like that banner that was going around for a long time that's still there. If somebody can't see and they're visually impaired, and you don't have the ADA button so that your website could be read to them, then it's a disability thing. It's like having a business without a ramp for
discrimination.
Yeah, it's discrimination. So that's all it is, right? And most IDX providers are providing. Oh, my dog's going nuts right now. Most IDX providers have an ADA compliant. Like it's.
I don't hear Gene barking.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's been a thing for about a year, 18 months, as far as like building out a website. But to piggyback on what Jake was saying about like the Google and SEO and stuff, like that's all very valid. However, the amount of agents that are really relying, and like Tom Ferry's a big business, and so he should focus on SEO. He should know what the fuck's going on with Google and his page ranking. But the majority of agents don't know what SEO is. They don't understand what page rankings are. They're not in any kind of map packs. They're literally turning on Facebook lead ads to try to survive with listings or buyer leads in the next 30 days, right? So like that overall idea of Google changing, like that's a problem. If you already have an established website and you're already getting traffic without paid advertising, it's a problem. But the iOS tracking thing on Facebook, this all comes down to having the knowledge, like listening to a show like this, so you fully understand how to bob and weave out of all these different platforms. Because there's enough business to go around just focusing on Facebook or just focusing on Instagram or just focusing on your website SEO. There's an overall strategy involved here, but the iOS update is specifically affecting Facebook itself and how you should think about your brand strategy on Facebook and Instagram. The website thing is going to be a small percentage of people. I put in the comments, like, is there anybody even listening to the show that has an SEO ranked website that's not running ads, it's generating leads? I talked to maybe 1 out of 10 agents that have that going on.
Yeah.
All right, look.
That's what I'm looking forward to, Nick, to be honest with you.
No, I get it. I'm not. I understand, dude. Like that's awesome. I get it. I'm just my world. Like we're not the bigger business side of things. Sure, other companies that I represent, that I do paid ads for, like that's a big deal. The average agent, I don't know if the Google update's really going to matter a whole lot. But if you're even thinking about building a website, like if you want to sign up with Clever, it's good to know that Jake's on top of it. Like if you want a website with Clever and you call them up and you're like, hey, is your website ADA compliant? Or if you get somebody else to build a website for you, know these questions to ask so you know if you're not going to be out of date on your website from day one, right?
So let me ask you this. Why wouldn't a real estate agent want to go ahead and have a website that's fast, performant, ahead of the curve on any Google changes, also gives you full control to go ahead and put all of this consumable content, whether it's written or on video, so that now you can go ahead and start ranking on sub-indexed pages all over for SEO, because we know our consumers are searching for stuff on Google just as much.
They should.
Any of these other websites,
they should call you. They should get that website, right? I build websites too. Like that's not having the website. It should be a staple for sure. But the majority of agents, I'm being the parakeet on your shoulder, like opposite here. Most agents just have, like you said, the bloated IDX website from their broker, and they don't know, but they still did $5 million last year with that stupid website. Yeah. Right. Yeah, sure. They could have done more. And they should be thinking about that. But on a base level, when I talk to somebody, when they come to me about like, what can I do tomorrow to start getting some traction? What do we look like on social? Because we can do social immediately. That's just.
Well, no, I think that's a very true point. And we have a hard stop with the evil bald ninja. He has to go pick up small humans. And so I want to have him weigh in really quickly, and then I want this conversation to continue for 3 more minutes before we close out the show. But Gene, kind of give me some of your thoughts on kind of what you're hearing here and kind of what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I just want to kind of put a cherry on the top of what Nick was just saying, because I saw this. My first experience with the ADA compliance stuff was back in 2017, and I thought, whatever, I'm not worried about it, right? And I still actually am not, but I know where it's going to come up, and it will eventually. And it's one of those things. If you have deep pockets, they're going to target the ones with deep pockets first. Tom Ferry's standing out there waving in the wind to attorneys because they look at it and they go, if I sue a guy who's making $13 a year, what am I going to get? Nothing, right? But if I sue somebody who's doing 800 events a year, what am I going to get? Probably something. So let's make sure they're compliant and go after them if not. But I will say this. Here's where I think the bigger, like right now, there's something else that I think just came to the forefront as we were talking about this that I think is way more important than any of the things that you buffoons are talking about. And I just got a word that Chick-Fil-A is facing a sauce shortage. So yeah, look, I'm not kidding. Look at this. And you see that? And so that's on CNN's business page, just in case you thought that was important. And so what they're doing now is they're limiting one sauce per order now. And this is a problem of mine. I think that my daughter, I'm going to probably have to go to school now to pick up my daughter so I can keep her together. Once she finds out about this, we're in big trouble.
Oh my God.
So discuss, gentlemen. I will see you next week.
Go to your local grocery store. They have Chick-fil-A in bottles. They have this.
They do.
Oh my God. This world is so fucking jacked. It's not even funny. Gene, before you leave, where can they get a hold of the Gene envelope? And then we're going to continue the conversation.
You can't call Nick Sakis. Bye.
And he's gone. All right. So we have gas shortages. We have chicken sauce shortages.
Lumber.
We have lumber shortages. We have copper shortages. We have toilet paper shortages.
Microchip, wasn't that the microchip shortages too?
Yeah, for automotive.
Yeah. I'm paying $4,000 today to get my car fixed. And the one reason why is that, dude, when shit hits the fan, I'm getting the fuck out. I'm getting mobile 100%, going to be able to rock and roll. I'm going to be chasing Jake on his, he's going to be his Harley. I'm going to be him in the SRT. But I mean, where do you guys honestly think that this is going? I mean, we have the iOS update that's changing kind of how marketing is done, and of course, we're joking around about other things. But in regards to, with all these other shortages, I mean, there's obviously going to be more that's going to be coming down the pipe. How, as Ramon, I'm going to throw this to you since you're active boots on ground real estate agent, and Nick as well. how are you interacting with your clientele, talking about this? Because I was listening to Clubhouse today, and they were talking about the whole gas thing. And I've heard about it, but I haven't experienced it. And I thought it was a phenomenal opportunity to go right back to digital and be able to, allow them to see it virtually and then do minimal drives out, save gas, save time, not allow stress into your lives. But Ramon, where are you seeing the shortages and what do you think is going to come down the pipe?
So I've got a couple of issues going on. I got a new construction, kind of a small builder under contract right now. And the guy was actually trying to jack up the price of the build after we signed all the contracts by $52,000, which is basically the expenses, the amount of overages that he's expecting because of the lumber increases. So we've been going back and forth with attorneys right now. That's been a fire I've been trying to put out. But basically, the builder says, "Hey, the wood's costing me this much more money, so I want to pass those excess costs to the buyer of this new construction home." And that's crazy because we have a contract. But in most builders, I would assume they would have bought the supplies needed at the time of contract to avoid these kind of overages or anything like that. But so that's been kind of a crazy real world experience I've had with the cost of lumber going up. On the other side, I drive the electric. I got a Tesla, so I just told all my clients, hey, if you need a ride, just call me. I'll come pick you up. We don't have to stop showing houses.
Genius. Brilliant.
I love it. I just did an article for Inman, and they were talking about the fact, I'm looking up the article stats right now, but I think lumber has gone up. It was like $18,000 for a whole flatbed of wood, and now it's $40,000. Up 250%. It's just astronomical.
It's a real problem with new construction, like Ramon said, fighting those builders in general only make like 10%, 8 to 10% per sale. It's not like they're cashing 50% of their margins on all these sales. So they're freaking out right now. The demand is still there. People are still buying, but it's having almost a provision. I don't know, Ramon, we haven't really talked about this, but like you might want to start thinking about having an addendum for a builder of like having this stuff when you're submitting an actual contract of like, hey, we need to make sure we tighten this up, that there's no escalation clauses. There's none of that shit going on. So prices, we're locking it in,
Let me jump in right there because I've noticed a lot of the builders have started doing two things. They've started doing addendums where they'll do like an allowance, like this is how much we're planning on spending for wood, and the buyer is agreeing to pay over that amount if they obviously go over. If they go under, then they get some credit back. The other scary thing, because of the inventory shortage, I've seen a lot of builders for real estate agents. This is scary. Start to charge or give a $500. Instead of a 3%, 4%, 2% commission, they're giving a $500 Amazon gift card, or a lot less money than the typical commission, which is really starting to scare people away.
That's fucked up. Jake, what's your point on that? Because right now my toes just curled.
I'm looking forward to all of this.
Naturally, you are.
Like literally. So I love change. I do. I love change in the industry. Stagnation for me is this constant kind of a flat trending movement, right? So big change equals big opportunity. So time to go ahead and strap up your boots. The strong will survive and everybody else won't.
And that's why the four of us are on this call right now, because we're researching and diving deep. We network with folks that are in the know, and we just don't let grass grow under our feet. For most of the time. I mean, I do it every once in a while. I'm not going to lie about that at all. But gentlemen, we're going to close this thing out. We are nearly at our bingo for the show. So I'm going to start with our newest addition on the show. First time on, long time listener, Mr. Ramon. How can people get a hold of you? How can people reach out to you?
Just on Facebook, Ramon. I don't know why I have my middle name on here, but that's Valentin is my middle name. Ramon Valentin Lamelli, or Ramon_the_realtor on TikTok and Instagram as well.
Nice. By the way, your Mex-Tex video, I watched it on mute when you guurs were talking. Loved it.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to go watch that 100%.
Send Ramon all your referrals. Where are you located, Ramon? He needs all your referrals for real. Like, he's the best agent.
Thank you, Nick. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the Triad, Greensboro, Davie County, Forsyth County, Guilford County, Central North Carolina. Send me your referrals.
You will get paid. Send him a customer, and you will get paid. He will close the deal.
Yes, he will. That's why we love him. Mr. Nick Sakis, how do people get a hold of you? Because you are a sexy, shrinking man, and we love to see this.
If you want to see me with my shirt off, go to my Facebook profile or my YouTube channel, because I've been documenting my journey on this 100 weight loss. But I do shed some clothes in those videos. So if you'd like to see more of me by seeing less of me, follow me.
Nick is going to start an OnlyFans. Nick, you should start an OnlyFans.
If you want to book an appointment with me to talk about all these iOS changes and how we can navigate and better serve you on the social ad side, go to getamplifiedmarketing.com and book an appointment on my calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nick, I'm so sorry I was not on top of that. So there it is, Get Amplified Marketing. You can go right there and reach out to him, guys. He is absolutely incredible. That's why I've worked with him, and he and I have become very close friends. He is a solid human being, as you guys well know. Then we have Wolfpack leader, Mr. Jake Wolf. What is going on, man? How can people get a hold of you, and what the fuck do you do?
Oh, I'm not going to tell anybody today, but however, I do have a big old question and an ask for everybody in the audience. My good friend Nick Sakis is looking to go ahead and add more friends on Facebook, so much so that I went ahead and created 2 Facebook profiles, and I friended them both times. All right, so go on up here to hang out with Mr. Nick Sakis, and if you need anything relating to marketing, he's a beast mode. So as soon as Nick says I can't handle anymore, come on over to Clever Leads, and I'll dress you for the success party.
Yeah. We got Clever Leads, we got trucking, we got all kinds of stuff. We even have cats with lizards on them. I mean, we just got all kinds of crazy stuff that we're doing over here, guys. Guys, Jake, thanks for popping in. Ramon, thank you for popping in. Nick, thank you for always being here for the marketing roundtable. Guys, my name is Greg McDaniel. And as you guys know, I am your proud host of this show. And unfortunately, Matt Johnson could not make the show today. He was too busy getting additional tattoos. We just don't know why, but God bless him. But reach out to me at 925-915-1978 if you guys want to do a coaching call or kind of talk about marketing or anything else. I would love to kind of work with you guys. But I love you to pieces. Guys, Ramon, this is your first time doing this, so you better put on your big boy panties. Nick and
I was getting ready to make my calls. I figured I'd jump in.
Good. Nick, Jake, and Ramon. Guys, I need 3 colors for the bow on the show. Jake, we'll start with you.
We're going to go like unleaded gas can red for all of my friends down there in the Southeast.
Okay. Unleaded.
Listening to the Real Estate Uncensored Marketing Roundtable. Cheers and charge hard to you. I'm glad you guys could find some time while you're in the gas line to listen to these professional men.
Gas can red. I love that. I did not know that was a color. Nick, what is your color for the bow?
I'll go blue for Facebook blue, since we're talking about Facebook.
All right, you guys are really coming up with some interesting colors. Ramon, your first time ever picking a color for the bow for the show.
Oh, let's go. Is lumber brown a color? Let's go lumber brown. Or pine. I think pine would be a color technically.
All right, we're going to do lumber brown or pine brown. What do you want to do?
Pine.
Damn it, I already wrote lumber. Okay, fine. We'll do pine. All right, guys. Hey, I want to literally thank every single one of you guys. Thank you for watching, listening, and paying attention to the show. This is the Marketing Roundtable. We do this every single Wednesday. We're going to be bringing in special guests like Ramon, Jake, Nick, Gene, and other folks like that. If you like them or like whatever they say, please give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review in every single location that you guys are doing any kind of listening to or watching podcasts.
And share the show. Share it.
Yeah, see, he already took the words out of my mouth. This is why he's my co-host. Yeah, share the show. And so we're going to put a gas can red / Facebook blue / a pine brown bow tie on the show. Guys, I love you to pieces. We couldn't do this without you. If you guys weren't here, we wouldn't be here as well. So like Nick said, share the show. And until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.